Shabbos Daf Tzadikei. We're going to try something new, to do a synopsis of emails that I read during the regular shir. It's my privilege, as the first email, we'll read an email from a boy named Moshe Mosbacher from Yerushalayim, a 13-year-old boy. He sent it to me 2 days ago, and he writes that he's had 24 surgeries to correct a rear syndrome that he has, yet he learns the daf, he learns the full shir, and then he does the 8-minute as a chazara, and he writes, learning the daf has made me feel so good about myself. So we wish you, Aaron Mosbacher, a tremendous amount of atzlacha. Hope to see you live at the shir. And here's a picture of Aaron that he sent me, a before and after. Such a zisa guy. So let's jump into the Gemara. We have two lashonos here. Rabbi Oven, in the name of Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chanina, says that when a woman braids her hair, she's over on the isser of oireg, weaving. If she paints her eyes blue, that's kaisav, writing. And if she does poikesas, she parts her hair, that's tviyah, spinning. The Gemara says, but that's not how people spin and weave and write. Rather, Rabbi Avo, in the name of Rabbi Yossi, says braiding and poikesas, parting the hair, is binyan. As HaKadosh Baruch Hu braided Chava's hair, and the Torah calls it kliyasa, which the translation is biniyasa, to build. And koicheles, painting one's eye, is not ksiva, rather it's tzviyah, dying. As the Gemara says, one should not put blush on their face because that is dying. Reb Shimon ben Lazar says that when a woman does these three things, godeles, poikesas, and koicheles, when she does it to herself, since it's not a perfect job, she's potter. When she does it for a friend, that's where she's chayev. Milking an animal, or making cheese by putting milk on top and having the water come down, and megavin, which means to take the curling of the milk and putting it together, the shear is a gregaris. To sweep a floor, to sprinkle water on a dirt floor, and to break apart a honeycomb and eat it, according to Rebbe Lezer, that's a issa deraisa yichayv chatos, as the Torah says, yaris dvash, the forest of honey. In other words, it's like taking off a fruit from the forest. Yontif, you get malchus because this is issa deraisa. According to Rabbanan, it's only a shvus, it's only issa derabbanan. The Gemara tells us an amazing story. Rabbi Nachman bar Guria came to a certain city, and they asked him, what is the isser of chaylev, of milking a cow? What's the isser of megavin? He didn't know. So they said, what's going on here? Was your Rebbe a katlikanya? Was he a reed chopper? He didn't teach you? So he went around and he asked and he found out. Milking a cow is mafarik. It's the malacha of dash, of extracting one thing from the other. The malacha of mechabetz is bayrer. You're taking the milk, you're pouring it, and out comes the whey, and the cheese remains on top. And megavin is taking the big pieces, the curled pieces, that is baina, to build. Amemer says this isser of sprinkling water on a dirt floor is only a dirt floor because that's mashve gumais, that is baina according to Rashi. But sprinkling water on a tiled floor, 100% mutter. The Gemara tells us, Rav Sva told Ravina, I see you're suffering from the dust, you have an allergic reaction or something, why don't you do a trick? Pretend that you're washing your hands in this corner, the water will fall on the ground, pretend you're washing your face over there, at the end of the day you'll have water all over. The Gemara tells us that Eishes Talmid Chacham, the wife of Talmid Chacham, daughter of Talmid Chacham, they know this trick. They wash dishes in this corner, then they go to the next corner, and at the end of the day, their floor is watered and the dust goes down. The Gemara tells us, since La halacha, we pass like Reb Shimon, the davar she'enim miskaven is mutter. If you don't intend to do that malacha, so over here, you intended to get rid of the dust. It happens to be that the water fell on the ground and straightened out your floor, but it's not necessary that's going to happen. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's mutter. Says the Mishnah, there are two types of flower pots. One has a hole in it, one does not have a hole. The one with the perforation, it could have that hole on the side, on the bottom. Sometimes it's considered as if it's part of the ground, it nourishes from the ground, and therefore, if you remove a fruit from that pot on Shabbos, it's like removing a fruit from a regular tree. However, if it doesn't have a hole in the bottom, then it's separated from the ground, there's no Isser Klisha on Shabbos, Midaraisa, Midarabbanan only. Reb Shimon says, there's no difference. All pots are not considered attached to the ground, and if you remove a fruit from a pot, even if it has a hole, you are potter. The only time Reb Shimon makes a distinction is when it comes to be machshir food, lekabel tumah. That is, in order for fruit to be mekabel tumah, you have to introduce them to one of the 7 liquids. If they are attached to the ground, it doesn't matter how much liquid you pour in it, it's not mekabel tumah. However, if it's in a pot that doesn't have a hole in it, then it's not attached to the ground. So it's not attached to the ground, you could introduce water to it. Says Reb Shimon. In this case, I agree that if it has a hole in it, it nourishes somewhat from the ground, it won't be mekabel tumah even if you pour water on it. The Gemara brings a story from Ahu Saba. Sometimes it means Eliyahu Hanavi. Ask Reb Zera, what if the hole has a root coming out of it? It's poking it, that it's directly by the hole. Does that nourish from the ground? And therefore, Reb Shimon would agree that's considered attached to the ground. Reb Zera didn't have an answer. Later on, Ahu Saba heard Reb Zera saying that if this pot has a hole of a olive's worth, then it's considered completely not a pot, and it's nourishing from the ground. He says, I don't understand. Halachically, you said it's not a pot, it nourishes from the ground. And when it literally nourishes from the ground because the root is poking out, that you don't know? And Abaye explains, well, the case was where the hole was all the way in the bottom, and it wasn't even able to hold a revius of liquids. Says Rava, there are 5 levels of holes in a kli cheres, in earthenware, that have different halachas. First of all, before we even get to the level, we have to talk about something called a gistera, a broken piece of earthenware. The only thing you can do with it is put it under another vessel that has a tiny hole in it, and it will catch the liquids. If that gistera has a hole in it, then it's a goner, because you're not going to put one gistera to catch the liquids that are coming off a broken gistera. They're both broken pieces of shards of earthenware. You toss them out, they're not mekabel tumah. Now let's talk about the kli itself. If the kli has a small hole that water leaves it, then it's mekabel tumah like every other kli, and it can even receive the mechatos from the para aduma. However, if the hole is large enough, and this is level 2, that water could go in, which is a much larger hole than water coming out, then it can no longer receive mechatos. However, it's considered that the kli is not attached to the ground, and as we said before, you cannot be machshir fruit, mekabel tumah. If you pour water on them, then they are mekabel tumah because they are not attached to the ground. The third shear is if a root pokes out, small root, now it is considered attached to the ground. You can no longer be machshir mekabel tumah because it's attached to the ground, but it's still considered a kli. It's mekabel tumah because it could hold olives. Fourth shear is that if it has a hole the size that olives come out, then it's no longer a kli for anything, unless you specifically designate that kli to hold pomegranates. The fifth shear is if it has a hole that large that even pomegranates fall out of it, there's no way out of it. It's completely not mekabel tumah. And finally, the halacha is that if an earthenware kli has something in it and it's in a room with a dead body, typically the oil hameis will go into the kli and be metama what's in it. But if it's sealed, it can protect that tumah. What if it has a hole on the side? Hole on the side doesn't make a difference. It has to have a hole on top and the entrance. What if the hole is so large that it's as large as 51% of the whole kli? Then the tumah will come in if it's a very large kli. And if it's a small kli, if that hole is as large as a pomegranate, then the tumah will come in even from the side. Have a wonderful day.